Hello, students. Today we are going to talk about that fast food that we love so much. What's really in it? What isn't in it? And is there any way we can find something healthy to eat at those fast food restaurants? Let's check it out. So, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at some general guidelines. In order to know how healthy or unhealthy a certain meal is or a menu item, you need to know what the general guidelines are. So, let's take a look at what those are. So, in terms of calories, and these are general guidelines, please don't use these as your strict parameters. Talk to a doctor about your specific needs. These are general guidelines. So, females should have about 2,200 calories a day, and teen males should have about 2,800 calories a day. Again, if you're an athlete, if you've got certain physical needs that are different, anything like that, everybody's different. So just take these as general guidelines. In terms of grams of fat, we've got females should have 61 to 85 total grams of fat per day. Notice that in your notes, each one of these is specified. Okay. So the um, saturated fat should be less than 25 grams. Males, 77 to 85 total grams of fat per day, and less than 31 grams saturated fat. Now, this saturated fat is within the total grams. Okay. Females and males should have less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium each day. This is where you are going to see very few meals, very few menu items keep you under that daily recommendation. And if you have to eat foods with added sugars, this is where those sodas come in. Females should limit their intake to less than 13 teaspoons per day, or 52 grams. Males should limit their intake to less than 17 teaspoons, or 68 grams per day. All right, so we've got that. So, just a refresher on our 4 dietary guidelines, because those are going to come into play here. They are not as specific as those recommendations I just gave you. But number 1, follow a healthy dietary pattern at every life stage. Customize and enjoy nutrient dense foods. So, keep in mind, are you eating nutrient dense foods? Not only do we want to watch out for the big bad 3, right? We also want to take a look at what nutrients we are getting in the foods we choose and focus on meeting food group needs. All right. So, are the foods and beverages we're selecting falling within those food groups? And if we were to visualize it on a My Plate, how would it look? And stay within the calorie limits. And the last one, the big bad 3. Limit foods and beverages that are high in added sugars, saturated fat, and sodium. These are the 3 that are going to be key as we look at these options at the fast food restaurant. So, for your assignment for this lesson, we're going to run through an example, okay? You're going to compare fast food meals at your favorite restaurant. Just pick any fast food restaurant. If you don't eat fast food, that's fine. Just pick one anyway. All the information is found on the internet. They have to provide the menu items and the nutritional information about them online. You'll look at the menus, and based on the nutritional information provided, you are going to try to create the most unhealthy meal possible. Highest calories, highest fat, highest sugar, etc. And then you're also going to attempt to create the healthiest meal possible at that restaurant. Then you're going to take a look at those meals and compare them with the daily recommendations. So let's look at an example. Let's pretend we're going to Burger King. Okay? Pretend we're going to Burger King. Now, I can link right here and it will take me to the Burger King website. Okay? And there'll be all sorts of information on the Burger King website. Okay. So, what are some things we're going to look for in that healthy meal? What do you guys think are some things that we might look for in that healthy meal? And what are two things we're looking for in the unhealthy meal? You can go ahead and pause this and write these answers down. Okay? Think about it. Using the dietary guidelines, using the recommendations I just gave you. So, for our work, a meal is one sandwich or main entree. Okay, and tacos are an exception to that limit. You may have up to 6 tacos in your meal if you go to Taco Bell or Taco John's or whatever. One side, one beverage, and you can make a dessert optional. So if I was looking for the most unhealthy meal at the restaurant, I would probably add a dessert. So let's try our unhealthy meal first. Okay. We looked at all of the foods available. We looked at the calories, we looked at the sodium, and I came up with this as the most unhealthy entree. It's called the the Texas Double Whopper. Again, we're at Burger King. Okay. It's got 1,876.6 calories, 136 grams of fat, 51 grams of saturated fat, over 3,000 milligrams of sodium, and 13.4 grams of sugar. Okay. Then we get a side. Let's have some onion rings. I looked at all of the different sides, and this was the least healthy. I knew that because it was highest in calories, highest in sodium, and highest in fat and saturated fat. So that's why we picked onion rings. Then a beverage. So when I was looking for a beverage, I focused on sugar and I wanted to find the one with the highest amount of sugar. So I came up with the value size high C pink lemonade. Okay, look at these numbers 177 calories, 46.2 grams of added sugar. That's a lot. And then, of course, it's the unhealthiest meal. So let's have dessert. Take a look at the sugar in the Oreo cookie shake 98.3. And take a look at the sodium. Now, you would never think of an Oreo shake having sodium because it doesn't taste salty. Sodium is very sneaky. So, this is what your worksheet looks like. Your worksheet for this assignment looks like this. Here are the menu items for the unhealthy meal. So, I got my Texas Double Whopper, my medium onion ring, value high C pink lemonade, and Oreo shake. Okay, so I've put my menu items in there. Then here's my total calories. I added the calories for the Whopper to the calories for the onion rings, calories for the beverage, calories for the shake. So this meal has all by itself 3,332 total calories. Fat grams. Again, fat grams for the Whopper, plus fat grams for the onion rings, plus fat grams for the beverage, plus fat grams for the Oreo shake. 192 grams of fat. Total saturated fat. Same thing, each menu item added together. Total sugar, each menu item added together. And total sodium, each menu item added together. That's how you fill out your worksheet. So let's compare it to those daily recommendations. So, guidelines in a day, females should have about 2,200 calories, males 2,800. This one meal has 3,332 calories. We've already got over our day's worth. Our fat guidelines. This one meal has 192 grams of fat. That's twice as much as you should have, over twice for female. And 69 grams of saturated fat. This meal has almost 5,000 milligrams of sodium. That's twice, over twice, what's recommended daily. And then sugars, 162 grams of sugar. And look at these numbers here. So, as you can see, it can be pretty unhealthy. Whoop. Yikes. All right. So, what are you going to look for in the healthy meal? You are going to look for the following. I'm not going to go through the example of the healthy meal. Look for reasonable amounts of calories. Use those daily recommendations to decide what's reasonable. Look for reasonable amounts of the big three: saturated fat, added sugars, sodium. Again, use those daily recommendations to decide what's reasonable. Look for foods in all 5 of the food groups. So you want to look for foods, go back to My Plate, okay? You're using what you learned in My Plate, using what you learned in the dietary guidelines to decide what's healthy and what's not. So look for foods in all 5 food groups. Picture that My Plate. And lastly, see if the restaurant has some sort of a healthy meal or healthy menu at the restaurant. All right. So, it's now time for you to have your own fast food adventure. I wish you luck. As usual, I am available to help you out. And until next time, this is the last lesson in the nutrition unit.